Hello everyone and welcome to Old Coins TV channel. If you love exploring the world of coins, their history, value, and rare discoveries, you've come to the right place. Here, we'll share exciting information about coins from around the world, from ancient treasures to modern currency. So, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and hit the bell icon to never miss our latest videos. The 1-cent coins of 1974, 1975, and 1976 represent a fascinating chapter in the history of the United States Mint, bridging both traditional coinage practices and special commemorative programs. These pennies, part of the enduring Lincoln Cent series, showcase the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, a design created by Victor David Brenner in 1909, which had become a symbol of continuity, stability, and American heritage by the 1970s. Each year carries its own unique context and significance. The 1974 cent represents one of the last fully copper coins struck before rising copper prices led to changes in composition. The 1975 cent continues this traditional copper heritage while reflecting the high production demands and circulation of the era. And the 1976 cent, issued as part of the Lincoln Bicentennial, introduces a rare set of 4 reverse designs commemorating the life stages of Lincoln, blending historical education with practical coinage. These coins are not only monetary instruments but also numismatic treasures, offering collectors insights into minting techniques, die varieties, and the economic challenges of mid-1970s America. The 1974 and 1975 pennies reflect the stability of circulating bronze coinage, while the 1976 bicentennial cents provide an exceptional example of commemorative artistry entering general circulation. Together, this 3-year period illustrates both the continuity of design and the innovation of commemoration, making these coins valuable not only in monetary terms but also as cultural and historical artifacts. Collectors and historians study them for their composition, mintage numbers, mint mark differences, condition, and rare air varieties, while educators often use the 1976 set to teach American history through tangible artifacts. In essence, the 1974, 1975, and 1976 1-cent coins collectively capture a dynamic era in U.S. coinage, one defined by economic pressures, the enduring legacy of Abraham Lincoln, and the mint's efforts to combine practicality with artistry. They offer a compelling story for collectors, historians, and enthusiasts, illustrating how even the smallest denomination can reflect the nation's culture, technology, and values during a pivotal decade of American history. The 1974 1-cent coin of the United States, commonly known as the Lincoln Memorial Cent, is an important and widely collected issue within modern American numismatics. Struck during a period of economic change, rising inflation, and shifting metal prices, the 1974 cent represents both continuity and transition in U.S. coinage history. The obverse of the coin features the enduring right-facing portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, a design originally created by Victor David Brenner in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. By 1974, this portrait had already appeared on the cent for 65 years, making it one of the most recognizable and longest-running coin designs in the world. The word, "Liberty," appears to the left of Lincoln's portrait, while the national motto, "In God We Trust," arches along the top edge. The date 1974 is placed to the right of Lincoln, and beneath it is the mint mark when applicable. Coins minted in Philadelphia carry no mint mark, those struck in Denver bear a, D, and proof coins from San Francisco display an S mint mark. The clarity of the design, combined with strong strikes at most mints, makes the 1974 cent an excellent example of late 20th century U.S. coin production. The reverse of the 1974 1-cent coin continues the Lincoln Memorial design, which had been introduced in 1959 to mark the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. This reverse was designed by Frank Gasparo, who later became chief engraver of the United States Mint. At the center of the reverse is a detailed depiction of the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C., with the statue of Lincoln faintly visible between the central columns, a unique feature that technically makes Lincoln appear on both sides of the coin. Above the memorial is the phrase, United States of America, while, E pluribus unum, is inscribed across the top of the memorial itself. The denomination, 1 cent, appears prominently at the bottom. By 1974, the Lincoln Memorial reverse had become familiar to generations of Americans and symbolized national unity, remembrance, and respect for democratic ideals. The design remained in use until 2008, making the 1974 issue part of a long and consistent design era that collectors often study in detail. From a composition standpoint, the 1974 cent is especially significant because it belongs to the final years of the traditional bronze alloy used for U.S. cents. The coin is composed of 95% copper and 5% zinc, with traces of tin, giving it a total weight of 3.11 grams and a diameter of 19.05 millimeters. This high copper content gives the coin its warm reddish-brown color when new, which gradually tones to brown over time. Rising copper prices during the early 1970s caused the intrinsic metal value of the cent to approach, and at times exceed, its face value. This economic pressure led to experimentation with alternative materials, including aluminum cents dated 1974, which were never released for circulation. As a result, the regular copper 1974 cent stands at the edge of a major change in U.S. coinage history, just a few years before the mint switched to copper-plated zinc cents in 1982. For collectors, this makes the 1974 cent one of the last widely circulated issues of the classic heavy bronze cent. In terms of mintage, the 1974 1-cent coin was produced in very large numbers to meet the demands of everyday commerce. The Philadelphia Mint struck over 4.2 billion cents dated 1974, making it one of the highest mintage U.S. coins of the decade. The Denver Mint produced approximately 4.0 billion cents with the D Mint mark, while the San Francisco Mint struck around 2.6 million proof coins for collectors. Because of these enormous production figures, the 1974 cent is extremely common in circulated condition and is still frequently found in pocket change today. However, condition plays a crucial role in collector value. While worn examples are worth only face value, coins that remain in uncirculated condition, especially those with full red original luster designated as red or road by grading services, are far more desirable and command higher premiums. Collectors pay special attention to grade, color, and strike quality when evaluating a 1974 cent. Coins are typically classified as brown (BN), red-brown (RB), or red road based on the amount of original copper color remaining. Fully red examples are the most valuable, particularly in high mint state grades such as Mississippi 66 or Mississippi 67. While the 1974 cent is not rare, superbly preserved examples are surprisingly scarce due to the massive quantities released into circulation and the tendency of copper to tone and spot over time. Proof coins from San Francisco are known for their sharp detail and mirror-like fields, making them popular among collectors who focus on proof sets from the 1970s. Additionally, error and variety collectors search for coins with die cracks, off-center strikes, double dies, and other minting anomalies, which can add significant interest and value depending on the severity and visibility of the error. Historically and culturally, the 1974 1-cent coin reflects the everyday economic life of Americans during the mid-1970s. At that time, a penny still had meaningful purchasing power and was essential for exact pricing in retail transactions. The coin circulated widely in schools, vending machines, newspapers, and small purchases, becoming a familiar object in daily life. Today, the 1974 cent serves as a tangible reminder of an era before digital payments, when physical coinage played a central role in commerce. For new collectors, it offers an accessible entry point into numismatics due to its low cost and wide availability. For advanced collectors, it represents an important date within the Lincoln Memorial series and a key piece of the story surrounding the end of traditional copper cents. Overall, the 1974 1-cent coin is far more than a simple penny. It is a historically rich artifact that connects American economic history, artistic design, and the legacy of Abraham Lincoln in a small but meaningful form. In addition to its economic and historical context, the 1974 1-cent coin is closely examined by specialists for its minting quality, die characteristics, and minor varieties, which together add depth to its study. Because billions were struck at high speed, many working dies developed wear, cracks, and minor distortions before being retired. As a result, collectors sometimes encounter 1974 cents with visible die cracks running through the lettering, small cuts along the rim, or areas where details appear slightly mushy due to late-state dies. While most of these features are considered minor and do not add major value, they provide insight into the intense production demands placed on the mint during this era. More dramatic errors, such as off-center strikes, broad strikes, or coins struck on wrong or defective planchettes, are far less common and can be highly desirable to error collectors, turning an otherwise ordinary 1974 cent into a noteworthy numismatic specimen. Another important aspect of the 1974 cent is its role in coin collecting culture and entry-level education. Many collectors who began their hobby in the 1970s or later recall pulling shiny 1974 cents from circulation and placing them into simple albums or cardboard holders. Coin folders from companies like Whitman and Dansko often included spaces for the 1974p, 1974d, and 1974s proof, encouraging young collectors to search change and learn about mint marks and basic U.S. geography. In this way, the 1974 cent helped inspire generations of hobbyists and contributed to the continued popularity of the Lincoln cent series. Even today, it remains one of the easiest dates to obtain, making it a foundational piece in complete date and mint collections of Lincoln Memorial cents. Looking at the long-term legacy of the 1974 1-cent coin, it occupies a quiet but meaningful position in American monetary history. It does not stand out due to rarity or dramatic design changes, but rather because it represents the endurance of a familiar coin at a turning point in material and economic policy. As time passes and fewer copper cents remain in circulation due to hoarding, melting, or loss, well-preserved 1974 examples increasingly serve as representatives of the classic bronze cent. For collectors, historians, and casual enthusiasts alike, the 1974 penny offers a connection to an earlier era of U.S. coinage, one defined by weight, sound, and substance, that is slowly fading from everyday experience but remains preserved in numismatic collections around the world. From a broader numismatic and preservation standpoint, the 1974 1-cent coin also highlights the challenges of long-term storage and conservation of copper-based coinage. Unlike modern zinc-based cents, the bronze cents of this era are heavier and more durable in structure, yet they are highly sensitive to moisture, air pollutants, and improper handling. Over decades, many 1974 cents have developed carbon spots, uneven toning, or surface corrosion due to storage in damp environments or contact with PVC-containing plastics. Serious collectors therefore emphasize proper archival storage, such as inert holders, low humidity conditions, and minimal handling, to preserve original surfaces and color. Coins that retain smooth fields, sharp devices, and natural, even toning are increasingly appreciated, not only for their market value but also for their historical authenticity. This growing awareness of conservation has elevated the status of well-preserved 1974 cents, transforming them from ordinary pocket change into carefully curated historical objects. In the context of modern debates about the future of the U.S. 1-cent denomination, the 1974 cent serves as an important reference point. During the 1970s, the penny still held clear transactional value, and its copper content symbolized durability and trust in the nation's currency. Today, as inflation has reduced purchasing power and discussions continue about eliminating or redesigning the cent, coins like the 1974 issue remind historians and policymakers of a time when the penny was an essential unit of commerce. For educators and collectors, the 1974 cent is often used to demonstrate how economic forces influence coin design, composition, and policy decisions over time. In this way, the coin transcends its small size, offering insight into larger themes of economics, materials science, and cultural identity. Ultimately, the 1974 1-cent coin endures as a symbol of continuity within change. It connects the classic copper cents of the early and mid-20th century with the transitional experiments that followed, standing just before the dramatic shift to copper-plated zinc. While billions were produced, each surviving example carries a unique history shaped by circulation, handling, and time. Whether encountered in a collector's album, a museum display, or an old jar of coins, the 1974 penny continues to tell a quiet but powerful story about American money, daily life, and the lasting legacy of Abraham Lincoln on the nation's smallest but most iconic coin. The 1975 1-cent coin of the United States, widely known as the Lincoln Memorial Cent, represents a significant issue within the Lincoln Cent series, both for its historical context and its role in modern numismatics. Struck during a period marked by economic adjustment, rising commodity prices, and continued demand for small denomination coins, the 1975 cent reflects the enduring legacy of the Lincoln Memorial design while standing at the intersection of traditional U.S. coinage and impending changes in minting technology. On the obverse, the coin features the iconic right-facing portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, originally designed by Victor David Brenner in 1909 to commemorate the centennial of Lincoln's birth. By 1975, Lincoln's portrait had been a staple of the penny for 66 years, making it one of the most familiar and enduring designs in American numismatics. The word, liberty, appears to the left of Lincoln, while, in God we trust, is inscribed along the top edge of the coin. The date 1975 is positioned to the right of Lincoln, and, when applicable, a mint mark indicates the origin of the coin. No mint mark for Philadelphia, D for Denver, and S for San Francisco proof coins. The crispness of the design, combined with strong strikes from most mint facilities, makes the 1975 cent an excellent example of mid-1970s U.S. coinage. The reverse of the 1975 cent continues the Lincoln Memorial design, which had been in use since 1959 to commemorate the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. Designed by Frank Gasparo, the reverse depicts a detailed image of the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C., with the statue of Lincoln visible between the central columns, a subtle design feature that places Lincoln on both sides of the coin. Above the memorial are the words, United States of America, with the national motto, E pluribus unum, inscribed above the central structure. The denomination, 1 cent, is prominently displayed at the bottom. By 1975, this reverse had become familiar to millions of Americans and symbolized not only Lincoln's legacy but also the ideals of unity, freedom, and democracy that the memorial represents. The combination of detailed design, historical significance, and widespread circulation ensures that the 1975 cent is a meaningful part of the Lincoln Memorial series. From a composition and physical properties perspective, the 1975 1-cent coin retains the classic bronze makeup that had been standard for U.S. pennies for decades. The coin consists of 95% copper and 5% zinc, giving it a reddish-brown hue when new and a total weight of 3.11 grams with a diameter of 19.05 millimeters. This high copper content contributes to the coin's durability, slightly higher density than modern copper-plated zinc cents, and distinct color, which naturally darkens or tones over time. Rising copper prices in the early 1970s had made the cost of producing bronze cents increasingly significant, but in 1975 the mint continued to produce traditional copper coins for circulation. This year also followed the mint's experimental period with aluminum cents in 1974, which were ultimately not released, making the 1975 copper cent part of the final fully copper Lincoln Memorial series before the later transition to copper-plated zinc in 1982. The mintage figures for the 1975 cent are extraordinarily high, reflecting the ongoing demand for pennies in daily commerce. The Philadelphia Mint struck over 4.2 billion coins, while the Denver Mint produced approximately 4.1 billion. In addition, the San Francisco Mint produced around 2.7 million proof coins for collectors. Because of these massive production numbers, 1975 cents are extremely common in circulated condition, readily found in everyday change, coin rolls, and albums. Despite their abundance, the value of 1975 cents depends largely on condition, color, and minting quality. Circulated coins with significant wear are worth only face value, but uncirculated coins, especially those retaining full red color and original luster, can command higher premiums among collectors. Proof coins from San Francisco are notable for their mirror-like fields and sharp details, making them prized additions to proof sets from the 1970s. Numismatists and collectors also examine the 1975 cent for minor varieties and errors, which can enhance interest and value. Common features include die cracks, weak strikes, and minor planchette imperfections, while more dramatic examples such as off-center strikes, broad strikes, and double dies are rare but highly sought after. Careful study of these details helps collectors understand the production process at the mint during this period and gives context to the challenges faced in striking billions of coins efficiently while maintaining quality. The 1975 cent also serves as an excellent teaching coin for beginners learning about grading, mint marks, and copper preservation, since its high availability allows for easy comparison between circulated, uncirculated, and proof examples. Historically, the 1975 1-cent coin reflects the social and economic conditions of mid-1970s America. At this time, the penny still retained practical purchasing power, often used in vending machines, bus fares, and small retail transactions. The coin's widespread circulation helped maintain a tangible connection to daily commerce and reinforced Lincoln's symbolic role as a figure representing unity, honesty, and perseverance. Over time, as inflation reduced the practical utility of pennies, the 1975 cent has come to serve more as a historical and collectible artifact rather than a tool of everyday commerce. Its presence in collections, educational materials, and historical studies preserves the memory of an era when pennies were both culturally significant and economically relevant. From a long-term preservation standpoint, the 1975 cent illustrates the challenges of maintaining copper coins over decades. Exposure to moisture, chemicals, or PVC-containing plastics can lead to spotting, corrosion, or uneven toning, making well-preserved red or red-brown coins increasingly rare. Collectors today emphasize archival storage, using inert holders, low humidity, and careful handling to maintain original surfaces and luster. Such measures help protect the historical integrity of the coin and ensure that future generations can study and appreciate it as both a numismatic and cultural artifact. Ultimately, the 1975 1-cent coin is more than just a small piece of copper. It is a representation of enduring design, historical continuity, and economic realities of its time. It connects the long-running Lincoln Memorial Cent series with a period of transition in U.S. coinage history, bridging the traditional Bronze Era with later developments. Its combination of accessibility, historical relevance, and subtle collectible variations makes it a key example for both novice and experienced collectors. Whether found in circulation, carefully stored in an album, or studied for its minting details, the 1975 cent remains a tangible reminder of Abraham Lincoln's legacy, mid-20th century American commerce, and the artistry and craft of the United States Mint. It is a coin that continues to educate, fascinate, and connect people to a moment in history where everyday money carried both practical and symbolic significance. Beyond its design and composition, the 1975 1-cent coin holds additional significance due to the variety of minor minting anomalies and collectible distinctions that appeared during its production, which have made it an interesting study for numismatists. While the vast majority of 1975 cents are standard, error collectors often look for coins exhibiting die cracks, die clashes, double dies, or weak strikes, each providing insight into the high-speed, high-volume minting process of the era. For example, some coins show faint doubling on the date or on letters such as Liberty, which, while subtle, are sought after by variety specialists. Other examples feature slight off-center strikes or misaligned planchettes, typically resulting from mechanical deviations during production. These anomalies, though generally rare in proportion to the billions minted, add a layer of intrigue to an otherwise common date, allowing collectors to seek unique specimens without needing rare or expensive coins. Additionally, proof coins from the San Francisco Mint, designated with an S mint mark, are highly valued for their mirror-like finish and precise detail, particularly in higher grades like PR66 or PR67, and these coins serve as important reference points for quality comparison with circulated examples. The 1975 cent also provides valuable lessons in copper preservation and grading, as it marks the end of the era before the widespread switch to copper-plated zinc cents in 1982. Copper is prone to environmental reactions, so coins exposed to air, moisture, or acidic substances over decades may show toning, spotting, or discoloration, even if they were once uncirculated. Coins that retain a bright red color or even a red-brown hue with minimal marks are therefore increasingly prized by collectors, demonstrating the value of careful storage and handling. For beginners, the 1975 cent offers an accessible way to practice grading standards, understanding mint marks, and comparing circulated versus uncirculated examples, while still providing opportunities to discover subtle varieties and errors that make the hobby more engaging. From a historical and cultural perspective, the 1975 penny reflects life in mid-1970s America. At that time, pennies remained widely used in schools, vending machines, small shops, and public transportation, serving as an everyday touchpoint with the nation's currency system. The coin's continued depiction of Abraham Lincoln also reinforced the symbolic connection to integrity, unity, and leadership during a decade marked by economic uncertainty, rising inflation, and social change. Even though today the 1-cent coin has largely diminished in purchasing power, the 1975 cent continues to be a tangible link to that era, preserving both the artistry of Victor David Brenner and Frank Gasparo and the practical history of daily commerce. In summary, the 1975 1-cent coin is far more than a simple penny. It is a window into the United States Mint's operations during a high-production era, a reflection of American economic and cultural life in the mid-1970s, and a canvas for studying minor minting varieties and preservation techniques. Its enduring design, high mintage, and subtle collectible qualities make it a staple in both beginner and advanced collections, while its historical context reminds collectors and enthusiasts of the penny's long-standing significance in American society. Even decades later, the 1975 cent remains a bridge between the past and present, demonstrating how a small coin can carry deep historical, artistic, and educational value. In addition to its numismatic and historical significance, the 1975 1-cent coin also plays an important role in understanding the evolution of American coin circulation and monetary habits. During the mid-1970s, pennies were still a vital part of everyday transactions, used for exact pricing in grocery stores, vending machines, public transportation, and casual purchases. Unlike today, when the penny's practical value has significantly decreased, the 1975 cent represented a meaningful denomination, with millions changing hands daily. Its presence in circulation helped maintain public familiarity with Lincoln's portrait and the Lincoln Memorial design, reinforcing the coin's symbolic role as a cultural and national icon. At the same time, the enormous mintages ensured that it remained widely available, making it accessible to collectors and the general public alike, while also serving as an ideal candidate for educational purposes in schools and coin clubs. Collectors and historians also note that the 1975 cent is part of a transitional period in U.S. coinage technology and materials. While it remained part of the traditional 95% copper, 5% zinc alloy series, the mint was increasingly aware of the rising costs of copper and the economic pressures associated with high metal value coinage. Just the year before, in 1974, the mint had experimented with aluminum cents, which were never released for circulation, highlighting the push to explore alternative materials. Thus, the 1975 cent sits historically at a crossroads, representing the final phase of long-established bronze pennies before the shift to the lighter, less expensive copper-plated zinc cents in the 1980s. This transitional context makes the coin especially interesting for economic historians and collectors who study how material choices, commodity prices, and government policy influence everyday currency. From a collecting perspective, the 1975 cent is widely regarded as an excellent coin for both beginners and advanced numismatists. Its high mintage ensures easy availability for study, while its range of grading possibilities, mint marks, and subtle varieties offers opportunities for deeper engagement. Coins are classified according to condition. Circulated examples typically show wear and a brown patina, while uncirculated, red, road, or red-brown (RB) examples are more sought after. Proof coins, produced at the San Francisco Mint with sharp mirrors and fine detail, remain highly prized in collector sets. Minor minting anomalies, including die cracks, double dies, or off-center strikes, also add a layer of intrigue for specialized collectors, creating a niche of error enthusiasts who examine subtle variations that occurred during mass production. Finally, the 1975 penny stands as a testament to the enduring influence of Lincoln on American currency and culture. Beyond its practical use, it preserves the artistry of Victor David Brenner's obverse portrait and Frank Gasparo's Lincoln Memorial reverse, linking millions of everyday Americans to historical memory each time they handled the coin. Whether viewed as a collectible, an educational tool, or a historical artifact, the 1975 1-cent coin demonstrates how even the smallest denomination can carry profound significance, blending artistry, utility, economics, and national identity into a single, tangible object. It remains, decades later, a foundational piece of the Lincoln Memorial Cent series and a snapshot of mid-1970s American life, continuing to educate, inspire, and fascinate collectors worldwide. The 1976 1-cent coin of the United States occupies a unique and celebrated place in American numismatics as part of the Lincoln Bicentennial series, which marked the 200th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Unlike the standard Lincoln Memorial cents issued from 1959 to 2008, the 1976 cent was part of a special program that commemorated Lincoln's life and legacy with unique reverse designs for that year. While the obverse retained the familiar right-facing portrait of Abraham Lincoln created by Victor David Brenner in 1909, the reverse departed from the traditional Lincoln Memorial design. Instead, the 1976 cent featured 4 distinct reverse designs, each representing a stage of Lincoln's life: birth and early childhood in Kentucky, formative years in Indiana, professional life in Illinois, and presidency in Washington, D.C. Each design was created by different artists and collectively celebrated Lincoln's journey from humble beginnings to national leadership. The obverse continued to include "Liberty" to the left, "In God We Trust" along the top edge, and the date 1976, along with the appropriate mint mark "No" mark for Philadelphia, D for Denver, and S for San Francisco proofs. The obverse maintained continuity with the iconic Lincoln portrait, reinforcing the series' respect for historical accuracy, while the reverse designs allowed for a creative commemorative approach. From a composition perspective, the 1976 Lincoln Bicentennial cents were struck in the traditional 95% copper and 5% zinc bronze alloy, with a total weight of 3.11 grams and a diameter of 19.05 millimeters, just like the regular Lincoln cents of the 1970s. These coins retained the familiar reddish-brown hue of bronze, which gradually tones over time, and provided collectors and the public with a tactile connection to previous decades of penny production. Importantly, 1976 cents were produced in vast quantities to meet circulating demand, with both the Philadelphia and Denver mints striking billions of coins for daily commerce. Proof coins were produced at the San Francisco Mint, which featured highly polished surfaces and sharp details on both obverse and reverse, creating collectible specimens that remain highly prized by numismatists. Despite the large production, the variety of reverse designs, combined with the historical significance of Lincoln's bicentennial, makes the 1976 cent a standout year in the Lincoln cent series. The reverse designs of the 1976 1-cent coin are particularly noteworthy for their artistic and historical content. Each reverse panel represents a specific period in Lincoln's life. The birth and early childhood in Kentucky design depicts a log cabin symbolizing his humble origins. The formative years in Indiana design shows a young Lincoln reading a book, reflecting his self-education and moral development. The professional life in Illinois design portrays Lincoln as a young adult studying law, emphasizing his early career and commitment to justice, and the presidency in Washington, D.C. design illustrates Lincoln delivering a speech at the Capitol, symbolizing his leadership during the Civil War and his enduring legacy. These designs were part of a special commemorative program, although the coins were released into general circulation, allowing ordinary Americans to engage directly with Lincoln's story through everyday currency. The diversity of reverse designs makes the 1976 cent highly collectible, especially for those seeking to assemble all four variations, either in circulated condition or in pristine uncirculated and proof formats. From a numismatic perspective, the 1976 cent is also notable for the combination of high mintage, collectible appeal, and subtle production varieties. Both Philadelphia and Denver mints produced large numbers of circulating bicentennial cents, while San Francisco produced high-quality proof coins for collectors. Errors and minor variations, such as die cracks, double dies, or slight planchette misalignments, occurred in small numbers and are often of interest to specialists in error coins. Coins with full red color or red-brown surfaces, as well as proof examples with sharp mirror fields, are particularly valuable within the series. The 1976 cent is also an important teaching coin for collectors because it provides multiple points of study: the obverse's continuity with earlier Lincoln cents, the variety of commemorative reverse designs, the differences in mint marks, and the evaluation of condition and color. These factors make it accessible for beginners while still offering depth for advanced collectors. Historically and culturally, the 1976 Lincoln Bicentennial cent reflects a period of national reflection and pride during the United States Bicentennial year, when Americans were celebrating 200 years of independence and remembering foundational figures like Lincoln. By placing Lincoln's life stages on the coin, the mint emphasized values such as self-education, perseverance, justice, and leadership, qualities associated with Lincoln's enduring influence on the nation. For everyday Americans, the 1976 cent was not just currency but a small, tangible symbol of history and civic pride, circulating widely in pockets, wallets, and cash registers across the country. This dual role, as both functional money and commemorative artifact, makes the 1976 cent particularly meaningful, connecting practical commerce with historical remembrance. From a long-term preservation standpoint, the 1976 1-cent coin illustrates the challenges of maintaining copper coins in original condition. Environmental factors such as moisture, air pollutants, and handling can cause spotting, discoloration, or surface toning over decades. Coins retaining their bright red color or even red-brown hue are increasingly sought after by collectors, emphasizing the value of proper storage in inert holders or archival quality albums. Proof examples, with mirror-like fields and sharply detailed designs, are especially prized and often carefully preserved to maintain their original brilliance. Additionally, the variety of reverse designs encourages collectors to seek complete sets, adding a level of engagement and historical study rarely seen in other single-year issues. Ultimately, the 1976 Lincoln Bicentennial cent is more than a coin. It is a historical document, a collectible item, and a piece of cultural heritage. It bridges everyday commerce with national remembrance, celebrates the life and legacy of Abraham Lincoln, and provides a wealth of numismatic interest for collectors of all levels. Whether viewed as an ordinary circulating penny or as part of a specialized set of all four reverse designs, the 1976 cent demonstrates the United States Mint's ability to combine artistry, history, and utility in a single small coin. Its significance endures decades later, making it a cornerstone of the Lincoln cent series, a reflection of mid-20th century American culture, and a fascinating study for anyone interested in coinage, history, or the legacy of one of the nation's most revered presidents. Beyond its general design and circulation, the 1976 Lincoln Bicentennial cent also holds significant interest for collectors due to its errors, die varieties, and production anomalies, which add layers of rarity and intrigue to an otherwise widely produced coin. While billions of 1976 cents were minted between Philadelphia and Denver for circulation, small numbers of coins exhibit unusual characteristics that appeal to specialized collectors. Examples include die cracks, die clashes, and doubled dies, where letters or numerals appear slightly doubled due to imperfections in the dies used at the mint. Off-center strikes and planchette flaws are also occasionally found, though rare, and these error coins often fetch higher premiums relative to standard circulated examples. Proof coins, produced at the San Francisco Mint with the S Mint mark, are particularly studied for sharpness of detail, mirrored fields, and the clarity of Lincoln's portrait and the reverse commemorative design. Collectors often seek the best preserved proof examples, graded PR 66 through PR 69, to display the intricate artistry of the four reverse designs. Even subtle differences, such as slight variations in the shading of Lincoln's coat or the clarity of steps on the presidential reverse, can make individual coins more desirable to advanced numismatists. In addition to physical anomalies, the 1976 cent series encourages educational collecting, making it one of the most pedagogically valuable coins for hobbyists. Because each of the four reverse designs represents a distinct stage in Lincoln's life: birth in Kentucky, formative years in Indiana, professional life in Illinois, and presidency in Washington, D.C., collectors learn not only about coin design and grading but also about American history. Assembling all four reverse designs in circulated, uncirculated, or proof condition provides an excellent opportunity to study mint production practices, differences between Philadelphia and Denver strikes, and the effect of handling and environmental factors on copper preservation. The bicentennial cent thus serves as both a historical artifact and a teaching tool, offering a tangible connection to the nation's 200-year history and Lincoln's enduring legacy. Moreover, the 1976 cent illustrates the broader context of U.S. coinage economics during the 1970s. Copper prices had been rising, and the cost of producing bronze cents approached their face value, highlighting the economic pressures faced by the mint in maintaining traditional coin compositions. This context also links the 1976 cent to experimental issues, such as the 1974 aluminum cents, which were tested but never circulated. As a result, the 1976 Lincoln Bicentennial cent occupies a transitional period in U.S. coinage history, bridging the traditional solid copper pennies of previous decades with the eventual switch to copper-plated zinc cents in the 1980s. Collectors and historians alike recognize this coin as an important snapshot of both monetary policy and minting technology during the mid-1970s. Finally, the 1976 1-cent coin remains culturally significant because it blends function, artistry, and historical commemoration in a single, widely circulated object. Unlike commemorative coins that were sold exclusively to collectors, these cents entered everyday commerce, ensuring that millions of Americans handled and carried symbols of Lincoln's life and legacy in their daily lives. Its accessibility, combined with the educational, historical, and collectible aspects, makes the 1976 cent one of the most studied and appreciated coins of the modern Lincoln series. Today, it continues to serve as both a collectible item and a tangible reminder of Abraham Lincoln, the bicentennial celebrations of 1976, and the artistry, innovation, and history embedded in American coinage. In addition to its historical and numismatic significance, the 1976 Lincoln Bicentennial cent is particularly important for collectors because it presents a unique opportunity to assemble a complete set of all four reverse designs, which has become a popular challenge in modern coin collecting. Collectors often seek examples from both the Philadelphia and Denver mints for each design, as differences in striking quality, detail sharpness, and metal tone can vary slightly between facilities. Circulated coins may show varying degrees of wear, while uncirculated examples preserve full red or red-brown surfaces, often displaying original mint luster. Proof coins, struck at the San Francisco Mint, exhibit mirror-like fields and exceptional detail on both the obverse and the commemorative reverse, making them the centerpiece of many bicentennial sets. The process of collecting all four designs encourages study of coin grading, mint marks, and condition assessment, helping collectors develop advanced skills in evaluating wear, color, toning, and surface imperfections. Moreover, this set emphasizes the importance of historical context, as each reverse design educates collectors about a distinct stage of Lincoln's life, linking numismatic study with American history in a tangible and engaging way. The educational and aesthetic appeal of the 1976 cent series also extends to coin storage and preservation practices. Because the coins are composed of 95% copper and 5% zinc, they are prone to environmental effects such as toning, spotting, and surface corrosion if improperly stored. Collectors are encouraged to use inert holders, archival quality albums, and low humidity environments to maintain the original luster and color of their coins. High-grade examples, especially those with bright red surfaces or foolproof mirror qualities, are increasingly valued as the decades pass, both for their beauty and for the preservation of historical integrity. Proper handling and careful storage not only protect the coins but also enhance their collectible and educational value, ensuring that future generations can study, admire, and enjoy the 1976 Bicentennial cent series. From a broader perspective, the 1976 Lincoln Bicentennial cent illustrates how coinage can function simultaneously as currency, historical documentation, and educational artifact. While billions circulated for everyday use, the coin also introduced Americans to Lincoln's life in a visually compelling way, making it a rare instance of circulating money serving as a miniature history lesson. Its four reverse designs, combined with the familiar obverse portrait of Lincoln, demonstrate the U.S. Mint's ability to balance artistic creativity, national commemoration, and practical production. Even decades later, the 1976 cent continues to inspire collectors, educators, and historians alike, representing a small but powerful connection to American heritage, mid-20th century minting practices, and the enduring legacy of Abraham Lincoln.